How scream artists create perfect screams for movies? That sounds interesting. A scream artist? He's truly a master.
One moment from Venom. That's not Tom Hardy. That's Scott White. Scream artists are some of Hollywood's best kept secrets.
Yeah, I didn't know this existed.
Actually secret. Take Ashley Peldon. She's one of the most accomplished screamers in Hollywood.
What a profession.
But you might not know where to find her, as productions don't always want audiences to
Tier
know
1
that their
Zap.
stars have
There's
been
some
dubbed.
Joey and Snappy.
This makes nailing both the emotion and the actor's voice that much more important. Here's how they get the perfect...
I'm sure I blasted you guys.
No, it was
The
pretty
sounds
tame.
captured on set aren't actually usable, so they have to be re-recorded later.
The great background actors who are there on set that day.
I did know that.
Mic'd, or maybe there was too much going on in the noise. You'll have wind machines going and sound effects, or you'll have like the stuntman or the director yelling at the actors.
But when it comes to screams, sound quality is just one factor. Screams are physically difficult. Just
Wait, I
look at this
recognize
clip
that
of Hugh
movie.
Jackman.
Wait. What movie is that? Fuck, I can't
Director
see the
yelling
name.
at the actors.
But when it comes to screams,
Malignant,
sound
that's what it
quality
was.
is just one factor. Screams are physically difficult. Just look at this clip of Hugh Jackman dubbing some of his noises from Logan.
Damn, he's good.
So if an actor wants to keep their voice intact, these skilled recording
Yeah, Malignant was
artists can
fine.
help.
It was interesting.
You know, maybe I'm more expendable, because for a session fee, I can blow out my voice.
Peldon and White first need to know what type of scream they're doing, as
As
that
we
will
said,
impact their
Bull
performance.
God and
One
the
of the
Prime
most common
Cactus.
screams you'll see in movies are fearful ones, but they're not actually realistic.
Now, what's interesting is in real life, most people will probably freeze up and not a lot of sound comes out, but it's not as dramatic on screen, so we want to make sure that it's a big, loud, terrifying scream.
Determining where in the body fear comes from can make the scream more believable. Peldon says fear screams should feel involuntary, even if they aren't, so she puts her diaphragm to work.
You want it as messy as
Where is
possible,
the
that it's most
fear
realistic. So, like, these are
receptors?
just really clean, short, or contained kind of scream. It's not really as realistic for somebody who's in a lot of fear. But if
As we
somebody
said,
is
blitzed.
fearing for their life or in a really terrifying situation, it's got the adrenaline pumping, it's got the sweat, it's got the movement, so it's going to be more of a kind of a feel scream.
You can see and hear this as Peldon watches an old horror clip.
Where it's the building tension is what's important there.
As we said,
one
lunatic.
would feel more of a fear.
Yep, met Cola and Goblin.
Building kind of scream rather
We
than
did
a
some content.
blood-curdling scream.
But what makes that scream sound different from this one?
Aggressive.
Is the
I'm mad.
anger, right? So it's screaming with the intent.
Screams that come from a place of anger call for a clenched mouth and tighter body position. And a more empowering rage scream calls for Peldon to fully open her mouth. White will do the same when recording war cries for games like Call of Duty. For other roles, Peldon will channel grief.
So grief has a different feel.
That's so
because
cute.
This is pure pain,
Laser Prime
but not
Divine.
physical pain, right? This is just
Convoy.
emotional pain. I tend to think of this as the most uncontained and unhinged kind of feeling.
When syncing to a clip, she'll often need to give multiple options.
This is a no, she's saying.
Listen as she tries one scream with the word no, and one without.
I'm not buying it. Eh.
Convincing screams involve much more than
This
just
is better.
incorporating dialogue.
No. That's better.
Listen to all the extra pants and breaths White adds to his screams during a fight scene from the video game Days Gone.
Rough game.
These wordless physical reactions are called efforts, and they're crucial to fight screams.
It's different than when it's a scream of fear that's more of a pull-in sensation. Usually these are more of a push-out kind of sensation. There's an impact attached.
Each breath and grunt will have subtle differences based on the type of distress their characters experience.
A gut shot would knock the wind out of you, which is more of a face punch would be more of a quick strike, like
While this effort fits in perfectly when White's character delivers a kick,
Perfectly.
this
I don't know
one
about that.
matches when he swings a machete. All these
Thanks, good
variations
stuff,
help
Matt.
keep the scene alive.
all of the energy when the camera's not on my character to keep that character going in the background.
But some screams don't fit neatly into one category. For example, in Incredibles 2, White had to create the scream for a pilot who's thrown out of a helicopter.
The fear of being.
Why not just have the
pushed
voice
out of the
actor do it?
helicopter, which then turns
Doesn't have to be
into
great.
anger,
Just like, ah!
I shouldn't have been kicked out of that plane, you know, or whatever. So it couldn't just be a fierce, ah! And then you hit the water. It had to have a little two-part act. And once you hit water, you're not going to hear any more of the ah. You don't
More
hear the arc of the
expensive,
voice. It's
I
just,
guess.
"Ah!"
This process gets even trickier when scream artists dub for a high-profile actor, like White did for Tom Hardy during the
Thanks for
motorcycle
Cap
chase
and
in Venom.
Daxify and Rise.
White first needed to study the actor's voice to figure out what makes it unique.
So Tom Hardy has sort of a gruff, sort of a lower, sort of a voice thing. So I knew going in that it had to have a little more grit to the voice.
Next, he did what's called chasing the scene, where he watches the sequence from start to finish, adding all screams and efforts as the scene progresses.
Cut two.
This is so
When you
adorable.
breathe and don't pass out. Feeling a little lightheaded, but you push through. Back to it.
Just get
And you
the
can tell
Dragon Ball
it's
Z
a
voice
workout. We're a
actors.
short
Be better.
3-minute scene in, and I'm already sweating bullets.
After that breather, White looked for specifics.
We're really trying to hone in on the actual scream itself and analyze.
I don't know how
the
you become a
scream.
Like when an
scream
explosion
actor.
goes off behind
Just fucking
Hardy.
yell.
He's got
Hope
his
someone hears
closed
you.
mouth and his teeth are showing.
Or
And
recruit
so
you.
you have to yell through your teeth to match that performance.
Then, when Hardy flies off his motorcycle, White had to sustain a scream for nearly 10 seconds without losing the imitation of Hardy's voice.
Easy.
Part of a long scream is to kind of tighten your vocal folds just
Look at
enough
Brian
and
Frogs.
release just enough
The bits,
air that you can
Noah.
prolong that scream as long as people need. When you do that, you're kind of tightening your stomach while, again, Tom Hardy's voice is more grittier, lower. So you kind of have to get that gravelly thing in your scream while you're pinching your vocal folds and tightening your diaphragm just to get out enough air. Because if you're pushing too much air, you're going to run out of air.
Yeah. He took a breath.
All
Amateur.
of these screams, whether they're fear, rage, or fighting sounds, won't carry the same emotional punch until they've gone through a layering process. Those layers can include the
Oh, they have to
actual
layer-
vocals
wait, they have
mixed
to do
with
it
the dubbed
themselves?
vocals and digital sounds. Layering is
Don't they have an
especially
audio
helpful for
engineer on
non-human
set?
voices,
I would
like when
think.
White performed the otherworldly screams of the demon from The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me
Oh
Do It.
god, that movie sucked.
Here's a demonstration of how a sound mixer might take White's raw screams and add effects to make them more powerful. Listen
Pretty
to these three elements
good.
combined in a scene. Creepy, right?
Right, yeah, I bet
Well,
that's
adding
fun.
effects
It's
like
probably a fun
reverb
job.
to create an echo and a rumble can make them even scarier.
You know, using what the human body can do and then taking effects, you know, putting
Hire
it
them
all
for all
in
the shitty horror
These clips
games.
don't
They
seem
probably
as exciting,
should.
frightening, or sad until a scream artist's work is added to it. So what makes one of Peldon's real screams sound better than this
Aw.
one?
I think what makes the difference between what sounds kind of like a generic scream that they could just get from their library of screams.
Well, they do,
versus
like
one
the
that really
Wilhelm
fits
scream
the
and shit.
scene is matching what we're seeing.
pretty bad.
The actor, the energy, the emotion. My scream isn't just noise, it's an acting burst.
6 screams, 2 seconds each. Go. Give us options. And you're like,
Wait, Reese, asbestos.
you know, and you just, and then they'll grab each of those files and use them all in different places of the game. So.
That's a position I never knew existed. Nor will I remember it exists.